Hey, what's up everyone? Dirty Markor here. Welcome back. This is going to be episode 2. We've just been hanging out through the night, cooking up some cattail roots, munching down. It's actually still pretty late. It's about midnight, or almost 1 in the morning. So we still got some time to kill. One thing we're going to do real quick while we still have this fire rolling is we're going to throw a stick in the fire pit, which will create a torch. This will give us some light early on. We're going to take the rest of that firewood out, save it for now, and we will hold the torch off to the side here. Here's a neat little thing you can do with firewood. If you don't want to store it in a container, you can actually crouch and right click to stack it on the ground. We're just going to put the rest of our firewood there for now. So now all we can really do at this point, I think, is wait till morning, or at least closer to morning before we try to venture out. As you can hear, there are baddies all around. It's very disturbing. We'll hopefully be able to get out there without taking any damage, because I don't have any weapons as of yet. So we'll try to make a run for it once there's a little bit more light outside. And even if we go out a little bit before sunrise, we have a torch now to be able to hold. Another key thing to note about the torch is if you have it in your hand and you press the X key on the keyboard, it swaps into your offhand, and you can hold it in your offhand while you still use other tools. The one downside to this is that you burn through hunger faster. So you don't necessarily want to do it unless you need to, at least early on when hunger is an issue. And what we're going to be doing today is, one, like I said last episode, or at the end of last episode, was that we're going to be looking for copper to try to get to the copper age. But before we actually can do anything with that copper, we need to do clay forming. So we need to go find some clay. We need to be able to make, one, a cooking pot, two, a storage vessel out of clay that we can store items in, and it will actually somewhat preserve food longer than the reed basket here. If you look at the top, oh, I guess I can't move my cursor off there, but if you look at the top of the screen, there is a stored food perish speed multiplier. So each container is going to have a different decay rate on food. So the storage vessels made out of clay, they actually are better at storing vegetables and grain and stuff like that longer than the reed basket itself. So we're gonna be looking for clay for those two reasons, just for surviving. But there's also the need for clay to be able to make a crucible, which is how we're going to smelt our ore when we find it, our copper ore to start with, because we'll need to cook that down, melt it down rather, and then pour it into clay molds to make some of our first copper tools. So clay is essential at the beginning of the game, before you can even get to proper tools. So that's what we're gonna be looking for. We're looking for mostly for clay, and I guess while we're at night we can kind of take a quick look at our map here. What we're looking for is these kind of here, let's zoom in a little bit. These kind of like blue-gray patches, that's going to be blue clay, which is the kind of clay we're going to probably want to use for this, for making storage vessels and stuff. And then over here, you can see this kind of, I don't know, maybe more of a brownish colored patch. That's going to be fire clay, and that's going to be important. You could also use fire clay for all the same things you use blue clay for, but fire clay is unique in that you need fire clay to make fire clay bricks for a later stage in the game, when you start cooking up glass and iron and stuff. You need a fire clay because it's, I guess, can withstand the temperatures better of high heat temperatures, I guess. So we'll be first just going out here. And another thing I'm going to note is, I didn't do this last episode, and I should do it now before we try to adventure out, is we need to make a waypoint for home. So we're just going to name this home. Let's make it red so it's easy to see. I'll put the little home icon, and we're going to pin this. And what pinning does is, now on our mini map in the top right hand of the screen, right up here, we can see our waypoint. Now you can see any waypoint when you get close to it, but what happens here is if we wander off far enough, this pinned waypoint will always show on the edges of the map, so you'll always know which direction to go to get back to that location. Since this is home, we want to always know how to get back here. Let's see, what time is it now? It's getting pretty close to morning. I think I'm going to just kind of relax here for a minute before we head out. I think we may want to wait another hour or two before we try to make a run for it. Since I don't have any way to defend myself, it's going to be basically just bolting out into the middle of the night. Otherwise, just try not to get hit until we can find some more flint and stuff for just to defend ourselves. So I will see you all soon when we're ready to try to get on out of here. Okay, I was just looking at some stuff. Since we don't have any way to defend ourselves, we could make ourselves some improvised body armor out of wood. And what that is firewood, grass, and a knife. That will make us a chest guard that is not very good. It only lasts it can only take 1 or 2 hits before it's severely damaged or destroyed even. But it could help in a pinch if we were worried about getting, killed early on. So I don't think we have enough. I mean, we do have enough wood. We don't have the grass on us at the moment, so we'd have to go outside and get more. So I don't know that we're going to do that this time around, but it is a good thing to know early on how you might be able to take an extra hit early on. I think it might be close enough to morning. We're going to make a run for it. We're going to make a run for it and see if we can... Oh yeah, it is sunny. It is light out. All right, we're moving. We're moving the torch off. All right, so there they are. Those are what are called drifters, or surface drifters. They're kind of the main baddies. They spawn at night or in the dark. We're just going to leave them alone. Get out of here. We're going to head towards that blue clay, which I think was to the south. I'm going to get past these guys and double check. Sure enough, to the south is where we're headed. So I'm going to run out there, find some clay, and keep an eye out for valuable resources. So I will catch back up with you guys when we get to the clay. Well, okay, we've made it to the clay. I did find a few pieces of flint, just enough to kind of get us another shovel or two that we might need. And possibly more. Looks like I got 8 here, so it could maybe make a spear or 2. I do recommend making more than 1 spear. But let's make another shovel, because this shovel we're using is about to break. So we're gonna do the napping again here. Just nap out ourselves another shovel head. That one there. And we're gonna collect a bit of this blue clay. So this is what it looks like when you get up close. It's going to be pretty easy to spot unless it's wintertime and covered in snow. We're just going to get a bunch of this clay here. This is kind of can be a tedious process with most mining. Just go until you're full, I guess. We're going to try not to fill up our inventory entirely, but we're going to collect as much as we can here. So I'll see you when we're done. Oh, there's a wolf nearby. That's scary. We don't have a way to defend ourselves yet. So let's, I think we probably have enough clay to get started. So let's real quick make a couple spears in case we do run into a wolf. There is a tactic to fighting wolves, and that is if they are charging you, which they often do, find a body of water like this one would work, and you get out into the water, and they slow down, and you can stand a better chance of either outrunning them or turning around and trying to fight them while they're in the water, and they have lower mobility. So I'm going to make 2 spears to start. I often like to have 3, and the reason being is when you have a spear, you can jab at them just by left clicking. But if you hold down right click and throw the spear, you can deal more damage. I feel like it's pretty consistently more damage, but the problem is then you no longer have a spear in your hand. So you want to have an extra one to be able to melee up close after you've thrown your spear. You can then pick up your spear afterwards, which is very nice. So we got a spear to protect ourselves, and we're also running low on food. I haven't seen any berries yet, so we're just gonna run around for a little bit, looking, picking stuff up, and maybe do a little bit of hunting while we're at it, I guess. You know, rabbits are pretty good to begin with, but, you know, we don't have a cooking pot yet, so that may not be necessary. We should probably wait until we get some of that going. I would ideally just try to find some berries, I guess. Oh, there's a wolf right there, and we're gonna just try to avoid it. We don't want to mess with wolves. Not yet. And we'll take a look in each of these potential little cave holes. We won't want to go diving into them yet, but if we see any resources exposed in the cave walls, that's good to take note of. Here's a cave, for example, nice and dark and deep. And now down there will be drifters, and as you get deeper, there are harder difficulty drifters. There's basically deep drifters. I don't remember the names of all of them off the top of my head, but deep drifters, tainted drifters, nightmare drifters, and they just progressively get harder the deeper you go down. There are a few other monster types down there that you really don't want to mess with early on. You also notice I'm collecting a lot of sticks. Sticks are very important with clay. Well, baking clay essentially, because they introduced a new system called pit kilns, where you dig a just a single hole, and you put your raw clay materials in there, and then you pack it up. I will show you that when we get there. Another thing I need to do, speaking of this, is we need a lot of grass, because you will also need a lot of grass for pit kilning. So let's chop up some grass while we're out here too. I'm keeping my eye out for resource bits that are on the surface, but I haven't seen much yet. Could be due to the world generation I have it set to. I kind of have it says rare for copper and extremely rare for tin, and those are the ones we're going to be looking for on the surface primarily. I mean, anything is good to find on the surface, but those are what we need right now. And I'm trying to think what else we might need. Maybe peat. Peat is a kind of a block type that when harvested drops these little peat bricks, and they are basically a fuel source like firewood, but they burn much faster and they burn a little bit hotter. But what's good about those is you can use those as a fuel type on top of your pit kiln and save your firewood for cooking. So that's a good source of fuel for firing up your clay. Now we can look at the map to probably find some of that. It's oftentimes kind of a darker green on the map, kind of like this, but I suspect that this is not all peat. It usually comes in patches, kind of like the clay here, and I don't see any obvious signs of it around here anywhere. This is probably just a shadow. Yeah, I don't see any. So we may not have access to any of that off the bat. We may have to use firewood, as is the way, you know. Don't always have what you need or what you want, I suppose, but sometimes you get what you need. So we'll keep on running around looking for resources, and we'll see what we get. I'll check in with you if I see anything interesting. Oh, actually, I do see something interesting. I was probably saying that while I was running past this. So these are some ruins of the old world. And they sometimes will have, or actually most times will have, cracked vessels. This one may not. This looks like it might just be a bridge. And you can dig down and around, which I'm going to do, and see if there's anything immediately visible here. But there can be cracked vessels, which will sometimes have things in it like seeds or just random kind of early on resources. So it can speed up the process. You can even find full-on tools. And sometimes there's hidden compartments where you can find kind of more rare things that oftentimes have limited use to you personally, but you can sell to a trader. I don't see anything obvious here on this particular ruin, so we'll keep on moving. We'll check out the ruins as we come across them. Oh, Lord. Okay, we are starving, so I'm going to make a priority of trying to find some berries or something real quick. I can't believe I let myself get this far on hunger. We don't have any cattails to cook up, and even if we did, it takes a while, so we really need to find some berries ASAP. Oh, almost fell in a hole. Guess it's not really a deep hole, thankfully. Or what do we get rid of that so we can just pick things up. Maybe we'll find some berries in the forest over here. I don't know. Oh, I hear bees. We're going to mark this real quick on the map. I know I'm starving to death, and that's not good, but we're going to mark these because we're going to need this later. For sure. So let's mark these bees here. Thankfully, it's close to home, too. That's going to be... That makes it nice. Oh, berries. There we go. There we go. Get some of those berries. Get them in your stomach as quickly as possible. All right. Let's see how much inventory space we have. We may want to actually consider grabbing these berries and bringing them back home. These bushes, that is. Yeah, let's do that. Let's grab up these bushes, bring them back home. That way we know that we can always come back home and get berries. Takes a few days for them to flower, and then a couple more days after that to ripen into fruit. But you know, having a good source of these is important. As we just found out, starving is easy to do. Alright, well, we found a nice little berry patch here. And we're going to pick up the rest of these. Bring them back with us. I guess we should probably head back and start the clay process. I hope I have enough things. We're probably going to need to chop down a tree or two to get some firewood as well for that. Because I haven't found any peat. I don't think we're going to anytime soon. There's another way. Well, I'll showcase in a minute, but there's another way to get your hands on copper early on, and then that's through panning. We will worry about that in a minute. I'm not going to get too close to this guy. We're going to leave that berry bush alone because I don't want to get too close to those guys. The male rams, while not aggressive inherently, if you get too close, they will hit you, and they hurt you a lot. All right, we have a little bit of room on us. These are wild onions. Now, on the top center of your screen, you'll see the stage of growth that they're at. None of them are fully mature, so I may just want to keep an eye on where these are temporarily. We'll just put... Oh, gotta spell it correctly. Or you don't need to, but you should. We're just going to make just a red dot. They'll be temporary. We'll come back and check on these. If as soon as they're mature, we'll harvest them up. We'll get some onions out of it and some seeds so that we will be able to plant them for ourselves later on. All right, we're going to store these berries on us. And we are going to bring these back home. Oh, here we go. Here's some copper bits. Now, I'm not going to mine them up just at this moment. What is he? Oh, I thought maybe that fox was going to attack for some reason. All right, so we got some copper here. I'm not going to mine it up at the moment, but we're going to mark it for sure. And I'm going to do this every time I come across copper, at least for quite a while. Just mark that copper, orange, close to home. That's nice. Because that means there's copper underground as well. But we won't be able to do anything with the copper underground until we actually have a copper pickaxe. So I'm just going to hold off on harvesting these. These bits on the surface you can break and get. So that's going to be great. We're going to want to do that. But we're going to want to make sure we have enough, find more copper around before we do that. So there's also quartz around here, which is great. That's going to be for glass making later on. Oh, but here's some mature flax. Let's harvest this. Excellent. We got a little bit of grain, a little bit of fibers, and our first flax seed. That's also a very useful resource to have. All right, we're going to head back home and drop some of this stuff off. Oh, look at all these bushes over here. All right, good to know. We're going to head back home and drop the stuff off. All right, we're going to make our little berry farm right here. For now, anyway, it's just going to be a few lines of berry bushes. All right, berry bushes have been planted. Let's drop some stuff off, namely the foodstuffs. We might want to keep those berries. Well, we'll put them in there for now. And this linen stuff that we can't kind of use at the moment. But what we're going to do while we're here is we are going to make a little area to be able to cook our clay stuffs when we get them made, and then I will show you how to make some clay goods. Just clear a little area here. Okay, so we're just going to make a few holes. I don't know how many we're going to need. We'll start with something simple. We'll start with like 3. We'll start with 3, I guess. The more the better, as you can get cooked at the same time. But I don't know that we have enough materials to cook all that much at the same time. I'm going to put a little, just little rain guard, if you will. Just to protect it from direct rain coming down, because it will put out your fire. And let's start making some clay goods. I guess we can do it out here while it's nice and sunny. Let's put some clay in our inventory here. What you're going to do is crouch, right click, brings up a recipe window like so, just like it does when you're napping and stuff. We're going to want to make, I think first foremost, we're probably going to make a cooking pot so we can actually make some proper food. So when it's yellow or orange, that means you want to remove that amount of clay. So you want to left click on those blocks to bring that in. And then when you see a green ghost icon here, that means you want to add clay to it. So here we're going to right click to add the clay to build it up. And now we're going to be making another layer of the same thing. So now you can press F. You can choose different brush sizes on how much you want to add and remove. But then over on the far right is a duplicate layer. And since the layer below we just did was identical to this one, and you just hold right click and it will build up. And you can keep doing that to build up the walls. It's so nice to be able to have that. And all right, now this layer is going to be a little bit different. So we switch back to the single brush type, and we're going to build that up. And there we go. We have ourselves a raw cooking pot. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to put it in our pit. Looks like you could do up to 4 here. We are not going to worry about that right now. We'll worry about that in the future. And then you want to fill that with grass. And we're going to top that with sticks. Oh, and we need firewood, which we have some firewood stacked up in here. I don't recall how many it takes. We'll just grab 12. I don't think it takes that much. And then we're going to crouch right click, and yeah, it takes 4. So we're going to add the firewood on top. We're going to light it up. And that's going to take a while. Firewood takes a while to cook up as a fuel source for clay pots and things. So that's why peat is helpful. Later on, charcoal is even better. We don't have charcoal yet, so or peat. So we're just going to be doing that. Now we're going to make some other items here. Let's see. We're going to make a storage vessel. We'll do this one together, and then then you'll have an idea of how it works. And then I'll just kind of skip ahead. But raw storage vessel, we are going to add. I'm going to use the large brush here and just kind of go from the side. Kind of speeds things up a little bit. And since we're doing a full layer here, the big brush is really useful. And we'll start making our walls. It's quite satisfying doing the clay forming. Albeit it can get tedious after a while if you're making a lot of these things. And there's all sorts of stuff you can make with this, but you definitely are going to be utilizing this skill in clay forming for the entire game. There's a few other items we should be making right off the bat here, like pickaxe mold and stuff. Well, and if you accidentally add where you shouldn't have, it's no problem. You just left click to remove, and you get that clay back. So there's no risk involved with this. Almost done. Oh man, those wolves make me nervous. Alright, there you have it. We got a storage vessel. Now this is big, so it's definitely going to take up its own slot. And sticks. And firewood. Now this being an awkwardly big thing might require more wood. Yeah. Perfect amount. Alright. We'll light that up. I think we're going to need to harvest. Well, maybe we can get. Yeah, we definitely need more firewood. We definitely need more firewood. So let's go chop down a tree. I will be back. This will keep on cooking. And we'll just go get more resources. Okay, we've made some more firewood, so we are ready to make another vessel or I don't know. We definitely need a bowl to eat from the cooking pot when we get that ready. So let's make just let's make 4 bowls since since we can, and they will fit in there. So we're going to select the bowl recipe, raw bowl recipe, ×4. And we're just going to, we're just going to remove the clay in the center here. And we're going to use the big brush just to kind of fill those in, and I'll remove the excess stuff here in a minute. All right, there we go. We got 4 bowls. Oh. Hopefully we don't get ambushed by any wolves while we're doing this. All right, so we're going to place our bowls down here, and we're going to fill that up with grass, sticks, and firewood. It's already starting to get dark again. So we got a cooking pot cooking up, a bowl to eat from the cooking pot, and a storage vessel. That's going to be the first things we're going to be making. There are a lot more things to make, and we may just do some of that here soon. You know what we might do for a minute here is let's before it gets dark anyway, let's just open up the space in here a little bit. Well, you know, I guess just a little bit is a little bit. We're just gonna do that for now, because we don't really have anywhere else to. We don't have any more storage at the moment, and that's gonna be a little bit of a problem until that storage vessel gets cooked up. But that's gonna be a little while. I'm also gonna run out and harvest some berries real quick before it gets dark, so we have some food to make it through the night. And you know, I think I would normally, I guess, say that would be a good episode there, but I think we're going to try to go through the next day. We're going to try to showcase at least the finished products, the storage vessel at the very least. So, it's just so I'll be back. All right, it's getting dark. I'm heading back. I got some berries. We should be good on that front. And I hope that we have enough reeds back at home, because I think I'm going to make another storage vessel. Look at this. I got some fireflies hanging out. So pretty. All right, yeah. We're not going to be starting the cooking anytime soon, so we're just going to be trying to survive on berries for the next few days. It looks like there's definitely some berries off to the north, which is good. Let's take a look. Let's put up a torch just somewhere here, maybe. Oh, I have it in my offhand. There we go. Gotta have it in the correct hand if you want to place it. Take a look in here, see if we have enough. I don't remember. Was it 2 all the way around? No, I think it's 3 all the way around, actually. Let's take a look at the recipe book. Yeah, it's 3 all the way around. All right, we have another basket here. I'm going to consolidate all the berries into it. And I think we're going to do just slight organization here. We're going to put the foodstuffs in there. All right, so another thing to know is you can place torches like you would in Minecraft just on the walls. However, they can only remain on a wall for, I think, maybe 2 in-game days, something like that, before they go out and they are destroyed. So, but as long as it's in your hand or in your inventory, it will not go out. See, we got more firewood. Let's stack it up. We're gonna have these guys yelling in our ears all night, which is really fun. Of course. So what we can do throughout the night, which I will do, is just make up some more molds. We're gonna make up a mold for the crucible, so we can start cooking metal ingots and stuff when we come across that. And we're also going to make the ingot molds themselves that you'll pour the molten metal into, along with a couple, at least 2 tool molds. One will be the pickaxe mold, and the other will be the hammer mold. And we will get those rolling because those are going to be the 2 things we will need in order to expand our mining operation for ores. So I will see you all back here in a few hours. Well, okay, first I want to just point out here, we got our raw crucible mold, we got our raw hammer mold, and our raw pickaxe mold. Those need to be fired up in the kilns. But what this will allow us to do is, when we do finally find enough surface copper, we can then melt that down into these molds, and we'll be able to have ourselves our first pickaxe and our first hammer. And now the reason why we need the hammer is once we have our pickaxe, we can then start actually mining ore that's underground in the rocks. We'll be able to break rocks. Now, when you do that, you get ore chunks, or I think they're called chunks, and then you will use the hammer in your crafting inventory here to break those chunks to get the bits out, and you need them to be in bits to be able to melt them in the crucible. So the hammer is essential to be able to actually make use of the ore that you dig out of the ground. So these are going to be the 2 first components we'll need. But what I'm also going to do here is I'm going to prepare for the future, and I'm going to make a anvil mold. There it is. It's a big one, so it's going to take up a lot of our clay. But this is going to be essential to make a copper anvil, to which we will then be able to do some proper smithing on, using the hammer to beat out an ingot into a tool head. Now, there are a lot of tools can be poured into molds like this, but some need to be hammered out on an anvil. And when we get there, I'll showcase that, but it's the first one I'm thinking of off the top of my head is the saw. So we can use the saw to make wood planks and make some wood chests and stuff like that. So this is the next stage of what we will need. So I'm just going to get ahead on it. All right, there it is. We got ourselves a raw anvil mold. We won't be able to utilize that anytime soon, but it'll be good to have. We will need that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need as far as playthings go. We definitely will always need more storage vessels, so I may as well make another one of those. and just waste some of the nighttime hours here. So I think we can get away with making one more before it's morning. My hunger level's about half, but we are looking good on some berries. So let's just top off, I guess, while we're thinking about it. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, I'm not sure if it's quite morning yet, but I'm getting real sick and tired of listening to these guys groan. So we're going to pop outside. All right, it's light enough as far as I'm concerned. We're gonna lead these guys astray. Actually, I've heard that they will hurt themselves on this. So let's see if they try to run through this. Now they do take damage. We might be able to scare them away with the spear. Because once it's morning, they don't really want. They're not as aggressive. Ouch! Not good. Don't want to take any damage. Try throwing a spear at him. There we go. He is down. And now we can carve these guys up, and sometimes they have some useful things in them. Not this time. Oh well. We'll get one more. We'll get one more. There we go. Yep, nothing. Alright, well, so... Oh, he's on fire? Nice. I wonder if they catch on fire and they run by something wood, if that would then catch the wood on fire. Because that could be a real problem in the future. We'll have to keep an eye on that. You can see the spear's durability doesn't last very long. On the bottom. Oh, and that right there is why you want to have two. Throw one, have an extra. Alright, well I was excited to show off the cooking pot and stuff, but I think that they're going to be cooking for a little while longer, and we're already running pretty long in this episode, I think. So, we may have to call it there, but it is the dawn of a new day. We have the beginnings of what we need to progress cooking up, and we still have a lot to explore. It's a beautiful world, though. Love it. Alright. That's episode 2. Thanks for joining, and I will see you all next time.